What happens when one of country music's biggest stars steps into the fiery world of daytime television and refuses to back down from one of the most outspoken hosts in America? What follows is one of the most intense live TV moments ever seen. Stick around because you won't believe how this played out. And don't forget to hit subscribe and share your thoughts below because this story is wild from start to finish. Blake Shelton walked onto the view set with his trademark confidence, flashing that easy grin as the crowd cheered. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed him warmly and the chat started off light, focusing on his new album and tour. But things quickly shifted when Joy Behar leaned forward with that sharp glint in her eye. "Blake," she began, "I have to ask you about those recent comments you made on the music industry and political correctness. They stirred quite a bit of controversy." Blake's smile stayed, but there was a firmness to his tone. "Well, Joy, I think people are tired of being told what they can and can't say. Country music's about honesty even when it makes folks uncomfortable." Joy wasn't letting it go. "But don't you think artists should be more careful?" "You reach millions," Blake shot back calmly but firmly. "Those millions are smart enough to think for themselves. They don't need talk show hosts or celebrities telling them what to believe." The tension in the room thickened. Whoopi tried steering things back to the voice, but Joy pushed again. "It's funny you talk about truth-telling when country music's been accused of excluding voices. How do you square that with your view of authenticity?" Blake's jaw tightened. "Joy, country music's about heart. Always has been. It's about telling stories that matter. We don't care where you're from. If you mean it, you belong." "Really?" Joy pressed. "Because the numbers don't show that. Statistics?" Blake laughed dryly. "You want to talk stats? Let me tell you what I see on tour. People from all backgrounds, all singing the same songs, sharing the same feelings. That's what matters, not numbers on paper." The other hosts exchanged uneasy glances. Sarah Haynes tried to lighten the mood, but Blake was fired up now. "I'm tired of people sitting in ivory towers telling us how to think," he said, pointing toward Joy. "You don't speak for country fans, and you sure don't speak for America." Joy's eyes flashed. "People like me? What's that supposed to mean?" "People who think they know better," Blake said without hesitation. "Folks who look down on small towns like we're backward or dumb." The audience fell completely silent. Whoopi tried to diffuse things, but neither of them was backing down. "I've never called anyone ignorant," Joy said tightly. "I just think we need honest talks about inclusion." "Honest?" Blake snapped. "This feels like an ambush, not honesty. You invited me to talk music, not politics." The cameras caught every moment of the escalating clash. Joy slammed her hand on the table. "I've been doing this for decades, and I don't need a country singer telling me how to do my job." Blake leaned back, smirking. "And I don't need a talk show host who's never been to Nashville lecturing me about my world." "You want to talk inclusion? When's the last time this show had a country artist who wasn't grilled about politics?" "That's not true!" Joy fired back. "Then name 3 from the past 2 years, Blake challenged. Joy froze. "Exactly," Blake said with a satisfied grin. "You don't actually care about country music. You just use it when it fits your narrative." Whoopi jumped in. "Okay, let's calm down." But Blake wasn't stopping. "No, Whoopi, I'm done stepping back. I'm tired of seeing media folks bash country fans. We're not your enemies." Joy straightened up. "Nobody's calling you the enemy, Blake. But when you make divisive statements, people are going to react." "Divisive?" Blake's voice rose. "I've spent my career bringing people together through music. I've mentored singers from every background. What have you done besides argue on TV?" The audience squirmed in their seats as the tension grew unbearable. Sonny Hostin tried to jump in, but Joy snapped back. "How dare you question my work? I've fought for equality my whole life." "Fought?" Blake scoffed. "From behind a desk? Where I come from, fighting means getting your hands dirty, not just talking." Joy's face turned red. "Watch your tone, young man." "Or what?" Blake leaned forward. "You'll cancel me? Go ahead. Controversy just sells more records." Alyssa Farah Griffin tried to pivot to his charity work, but Blake was too riled up. "You know what your real problem is, Joy? You can't stand that there are still Americans who think differently. You hate that country music represents values that challenge yours." "That's not true," Joy said weakly. "Then why attack us all the time?" Blake pressed. You act like we're some disease. You don't know me, Joy. You don't know my story. The crew behind the scenes looked panicked. The show had lost all control. Joy stood, furious. You use your platform to divide people. Blake rose too, towering over her. That's rich coming from you. I bring people joy. You bring outrage. I bring truth, Joy yelled. Truth? Blake laughed bitterly. Your version, maybe. The people you claim to defend. They're the same ones coming to my concerts. They don't need you to speak for them. Whoopi pleaded for calm, but Blake wasn't done. You know what's sad, Joy? You could have had a real talk with me, about music, about fans, but you wanted a political fight. Joy sat back down, still fuming. I asked fair questions about your own words. Fair? Blake said sharply. No, you twisted them. I've treated everyone with respect my whole life. Can you say the same? Joy faltered. I've dedicated my life to equality, she said quietly. Your version of equality, Blake countered. What about the millions who don't share your views? Where's their voice? Sarah tried again. I think everyone just wants to be heard. Blake nodded at her. Exactly, and that means folks from small towns too. Inclusion works both ways. Joy interjected. Nobody's judging based on where you live. Aren't you? Blake snapped. Every time you mention country music, it's with sarcasm. Every time you talk about the South, it's with judgment. That's not true, Joy insisted, her voice shaky. It is true, Blake said firmly. You fight prejudice by being prejudiced yourself. The air was heavy, the audience stunned. Blake took a slow breath, his tone softening. You know what's really sad? We probably agree on more than we disagree, but instead of finding that middle ground, you turned this into a battle. Joy looked genuinely shaken. I didn't mean for it to go this way. Maybe not, Blake replied quietly. But this is what happens when conversations turn into attacks instead of understanding. He faced the camera. This is why people are tired of media. They just want honesty, not ambushes. Turning back to the table, he said, I came here to talk about music, about connection. Instead, I got a political inquisition. Whoopi tried to smooth things over. Blake, maybe it was just a misunderstanding. No, Whoopi, Blake said, pulling off his mic. Joy knew exactly what she was doing. He placed the mic on the table and looked around. Thanks for having me. I hope your audience got what they wanted. He walked off as the studio sat frozen. It wasn't just a heated exchange. It was a breakdown of everything daytime TV was supposed to be. And everyone watching knew they had just witnessed television history. So, what do you think? Was Blake Shelton right to stand his ground, or did Joy Behar make fair points worth discussing?